The University of Idaho's Franklin H. Pitkin Forest Nursery is a research and production facility that specializes in containerized growth of seedlings that are both native and non-native to the inland Northwest. This nursery produces nearly 500,000 seedlings yearly and has recently completed construction on a brand new state-of-the-art greenhouse to further increase its production volume. Most forest nurseries in the inland Northwest choose to grow their seedlings in solid-walled containers, instead of bare root seedlings, which are planted as rows in the ground. The reason why you would choose a solid wall container over bare root is because it gives you a lot more control over the development and growth of a seedling. You can manage your irrigation schedule, which is especially beneficial in an area that might see prolonged periods between a precipitation event. You also have control over the nutrients that are delivered and can manage for pests and disease. Overall, a containerized system provides increased control over the seedling's development. The most popular choice of container for growing conifers in the Pacific Northwest is a solid-walled container made out of styrofoam called Styroblocks, and those are made by Beaver Plastics. These containers have proven over the past 30 years that they can create a great quality seedling that is beneficial to both foresters and landowners purchasing them for planting. However, with the new greenhouse space here, the Pitkin Nursery had a really unique opportunity to expand its research and production experience with a container-type combination that has piqued the interest of a lot of foresters in the region. Paper pots are a biodegradable, paper-wrapped plug that holds together growth media while also providing the seedling's root system protection. Several companies create variants of paper pots, including the Fiber Cells by BCC and the Earth Pots by OBC Northwest. The Pitkin Nursery will be using Ellie pots for their trials here, and they're going to be placing them into a specialized air pruning tray created by the Blackmore company called Air Trays. The combination of paper pots and an air pruning tray should allow for air pockets to form around the outside of a seedling's plug. When a seedling's newly grown roots poke out of the paper, they're going to encounter air. And when they do, they will naturally prune themselves. The root system will know that there is no water there and they shouldn't continue growing, and instead it will direct the root to grow at a different point. Now, this branching should create a more fibrous root system with more root tips that are better for exploration and nutrient acquisition. And that's the ultimate desire of growing a seedling, is to create a better root system for establishing seedlings on an outplanting site that might have harsh conditions like poor nutrient access or poor water access. The Pitkin Nursery is growing 30,000 Douglas fir seedlings in their initial trial run of paper pots and an air pruning tray. To create the paper plugs, a specialized machine was temporarily shipped to the Pitkin Nursery so that the plugs could be made on site. This machine takes a roll of Ellie pot paper and feeds it around a metal tube where a heat sealer seals it together and creates the cylindrical wrap of the plug. The tube is typically connected to a hopper filled with media, and vacuum pressure takes the media from the hopper and puts it into the paper cylinder. Unfortunately, a shipping error delayed the hopper's arrival, and to keep the sewing schedule on time, the Pitkin crew decided to just rig an alternative hopper solution using a 5-gallon water jug and some PVC tubing to connect to the metal tube. Once the media is inside the paper pot, a puller creates a specific length depending upon your container's depth, and then sends it to be cut before somebody can pick it up and place it into a tray. The Ellie pot machine that was shipped to the Pitkin Nursery is the most basic of their semi-automatic models. With the correct hopper, a team of 2 people should be able to create about 2,000 plugs per hour at 120mm plug depth. Now, some paper pot machines are much larger than this one, and they have options for hands-free tray filling or cell irrigation and even hydroponic system integration. Really, the sky's the limit for the amount of automation that you want on a system like this. Of course, setups for a machine as simple as this one come with a capital investment that must be weighed against its efficiency and its ability to produce a quality seedling. The Pitkin Nursery currently uses a Gleason flat filler to put the media into their containers, and they have for many years. In fact, Gleasons aren't made anymore, and the Pitkin Nursery will be looking to upgrade their tray filling system in the near future. To achieve the proper media compaction for each cell, the Pitkin Nursery takes every tray and runs it through the flat filler twice. It's then extracted by hand and moved to another station where it needs to be pounded by hand to complete the media compaction process. The final step is to brush the top of each cell, which creates a divot for individual seeds to be sown into. This current tray filling process has a number of steps that create a large volume of media being blown into the air. Subsequently, there's a need for ventilation and masks to protect the workers from breathing in those media particles that have been blown in the air by these several steps. So, two advantages that a paper pot machine has over their current flat filling machine is first, the vacuum filling process creates drastically less media being blown into the air. And second, there are less steps required to fill a tray. However, the Gleason flat filler can still produce more cells per hour than this basic configuration for the paper pot machine. Now, every nursery is going to have their own unique limitations when it comes to a tray filling setup, and that could be financial or space constraints. No single system is going to work for every nursery out there. Many nurseries are already set up to maximize their growing space for a specific type of solid-walled container, and they wouldn't consider a change in tray type unless those new containers can be placed into the same footprint as their current one. The air trays being used in this experiment are designed to have the same dimensions as the most commonly used styrofoam containers nowadays. But they also have one advantage over your Styroblock trays, and that's compact stackability. Being able to stack a container is very desirable because less space is required for storage, and higher quantities of empty containers can be moved around much more efficiently. Storage space is a primary concern for a lot of growers. Storing a container inside will provide protection from the elements and ensure a container's longevity, but oftentimes that space is lacking. Most nurseries have a pile of unhoused containers somewhere on their property, and they can range in condition from really good to container graveyard. It's difficult to invest in a building that's dedicated to container storage when most nurseries would choose to invest that money into another greenhouse that generates more revenue, or maintenance and upkeep of their current facilities. Having a container that stacks together won't eliminate any storage concerns, but it may help alleviate any space constraint problems. Another benefit of a paper pot system is the ability to sort your seedlings after they are sown. Now, this is not unique to a paper pot system, but it is not seen in a typical styrofoam container. Sorting gives a grower even more control over a seedling's development by allowing that grower to move the seedlings and control the density in the tray or the light access of an individual seedling. A paper pot and air pruning tray combination does appear to have a lot of advantages over a solid wall container. But we have to remember, solid wall containers have been producing great quality seedlings for decades now. It's going to be difficult to justify a change in container type unless we really know that the new container is going to produce a better seedling for whatever outplanting site we have. Many more studies will need to be run on a paper pot and air pruning tray system so that we can optimize things like irrigation and nutrient delivery. The Pitkin Nursery will continue to run its trials, and hopefully, with the information that they learn, we can start to answer some of the questions that any nursery might have about a paper pot and air pruning tray combination. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of this video. I had a lot of fun making it, and I hope that you enjoyed watching it. If there's a specific natural resources topic or question that you have and you would like to see answered, please leave a comment below on what that is, and I'll try and make a future video for you. Thank you once again. Have a good one.